Now, it seems like an eternity ago, but it was only the 30th of January that Cabinet decided it wasn't the government's job to sink $25 million into SPC Ardmona. Last month, the Victorian government thought differently and came up with $22 million. And today, the company has a new lease on life, celebrating a 5-year, $70 million deal to expand its products into Woolworths stores.
The way that I view that, the $25 million from the federal government was probably the best $25 million that we never got, because it raised with the consumers everywhere the issues that SPC is facing. They saw the fight that we were having, they saw that the ground on which we were fighting wasn't a level playing field, and they've responded really in a magnificent way. In the first 2 months of this year, our sales are well ahead of last year and growing in ways that we never expected. That was kind of the linchpin for CCA and the Victorian government to go ahead with the investment.
So clinching the Woolworths deal raises the question, did the company ever need federal money if it was poised to secure such a lucrative contract? Well, no one fought harder for SPC Ardmona than the local Liberal MP Sharman Stone throughout January and February. We checked in with her in Shepparton just a little earlier.
We had that massive increase in demand from the Australian public. You know, there was over 20 million hits on the SPCA Sunday website. I mean, that's extraordinary in a country of much more than 25, 26 million people. So Australian public said, we want Australian grown. Woolworths listened to that. They know the customer is king. They know that if they don't get in and put some support behind the growers, they'll keep on having to push those trees out. The tomato growers will further decline and have to walk away. So now we've got certainty in the next 5 years. It's a win-win all round. It's a win-win for Australian families, for our orchards, for our economy. And just behind us here, this factory, there are about 700 workers who are going to breathe easier again.
So is it safe to assume that Woolworths had been in negotiations over this before February, when the federal government was being asked to help?
Remember, the decision was all about that the company had not got its house in order. The idea was that there were shocking entitlements, wages through the roof. To quote some of those lines at the time, the idea was that SPCA had not got its house in order. Well, yes, it had. Yes, it had. And so, yes, the Commonwealth chose not to support, but the state did. And the state of Victoria, I think, is feeling pretty good about itself this morning, because it can hang its shingle to this factory here and say, we helped save SPC.
Well, does this decision today prove that the $25 million requested of the Commonwealth wasn't necessary after all?
Well, it stimulated the Australian public's response, because you'll recall, I guess, I said no. What you're saying at the Cabinet table is not right. And we had the public saying, well, that's not fair. So, yes, that refusal of that $25 million from the Commonwealth, it triggered this huge response, and that's led to Woolworths saying the customer is right, let's put what they want back on the shelves for them.
Sharman, this is one fight you've won, but there's another you've been waging too. You've been pushing for female quotas for the Liberal Party. Now, your call was dismissed as a side issue by one frontbencher, but did you receive any high-level support for this?
My call was all about making sure that Australian women are as likely to be found in Parliament as men. And we've got, 51% of the population are women in Australia. Let's see something like that proportion in Parliament, state and federal. And if it's quotas to get us there, if it's some other sort of affirmative action, let's be serious about it, because no party at the moment is getting anywhere near that. The old Democrats were coming close, they're gone, but certainly it is not good enough for us to sit in that chamber day after day and look around at men in suits. We've got to have women there as well. And it looks like we're going to have to take real action to make that happen. We can't just rely on women battling their way through all by themselves. It's going to take more than that, I think.
So will you be pressing ahead with this argument?
Well, I know a lot of people feel like I do. It's a case of the various parties thinking about their pre-selections, thinking about the current barriers to women coming through, addressing those and making sure then we have the very best mix of candidates representing diversity in our Australian public.
Well, Sharman Stone, we'll let you go and celebrate what's been a good day for the people of the Goulburn Valley.
Thank you very much.